Big John, Freeman of the City of Newcastle, what an honour.
Yes, it was an honour. The people that nominated me and the people that voted on it, yes, it was an honour. I still think there's people out there that deserve it more than what I did.
I know that I met up with you earlier this week, and I went to your house and we were having a chat, but you also mentioned you were a bit of a rebel as a young kid, and we're going to get into that a little bit later, but your mum's rebel, you said. Take yourself back to then, that you would be awarded, Freeman of the City, an OAM. What would the young rebel be? What would the young rebel be thinking?
Nothing. I never ever done it for recognition. It was done it because there was a need out there for children. And having children myself, I saw a lot of problems with children not receiving stuff and all the rest of it. And because there was a need out there, come on, we went for it. And a committee that we had in the 1980s turned around, and I was lucky to be part of that committee. And they decided that they'd keep the toy run going that was started in 1978 by Barry London and the boys at the Federal Hotel. So,
and it's like humble beginnings to it's nearly 13,000 bikies last.
Bikers. Sorry, no, we're definitely bikers, not bikies.
Well, I was going to bring that up. Was there's this myth that people always thought you were in a bikie gang, but that's not true.
No, we never wore patches. Basically, we made sure that we never had anything on the back of our cut-offs except my name, Big John. So, it's not a patch group. It's just bikers, social motorcycle groups that ride together for fun, for mates.
Yeah.
It's just social. You go have a few drinks, you ride somewhere and have a drink or have a cup of coffee and just enjoy the motorcycles and the motorcycle world.
Did any bikies ever reach out to you?
Yeah, I've got a lot of mates that are bikies. Basically, when I first started off riding motorbikes, I was riding with a lot of like-minded guys, and because it attracts, the bikie group attracts guys that want to be a bit different.
Yeah.
And a lot of my mates went over to bikie groups. Now, a mate of mine, a real good mate of mine, Straub Sumter, he's a lifetime member of the Gladiators.
Yep.
And we used to ride there. So, it's just your choice. I never chose to go that way.
I suppose, too, that you'd be in a unique person or a unique group that would be able to talk to different types of bikie gangs, and they wouldn't get offended.
Well, when we started off, it was everyone in bike groups turned around and said, "Oh, I'm not going to support that group, or I'm not going to support that group. They're rissoles, etc., etc." So we decided to make sure we only kept it neutral. So we had Bikers Limited, we had MRA, then we had Combined Country Motorcycles, and then in 2000 I started Bikers for Kids. Now, Bikers for Kids was only a couple of people, so not many people had a hassle against a couple of people.
Yeah.
They might have a hassle about a social motorcycle club, but not just a couple of people. So that meant we drew all motorcycle clubs in. It didn't matter who they were, and they come along and help raise money for the kids.
Just to state on the bikies, a bikie gang has changed over the years, hasn't it, to what it used to be. I suppose it was a case of people that, as you sort of touched on that regimented lifestyle. A lot of them, when they come out of the army, they want that, and bikie gangs seem to do that, doesn't it?
Yeah, they run along the same rules. I was in the army, but when I come out, I swore I was only CMF, but I come out, I swore I'd never wear a uniform again. And look at me now, I'm volunteering at Fort Scratchy in another damn uniform.
You wear too many hats, Big John. You mentioned that the 30 years ago, it all started at the Federal, but it sort of changed, didn't it? It went from, in regards to the charity.
It started in 1978 at the Federal, so that's 48 years.
48 years, yeah.
So they've been running 48 years. the guys at the Federals, Barry London started. They come along. They met a guy with the West Coast Eagle, which is a patch group with Barry, and he was talking to Barry about it and about this toy run they'd done for the kids. And Barry London brought it back to the guys that were drinking at the Federal and said, "Hey, this is a good idea." And the guy said, "Hey, great." So the first run in 1978, they went to Woodlands Boys Home, and Woodlands Boys Home closed down in '80. And I come on board with Bikers Limited at very late '80s and become part of the committee for the toy run. I was a member of Bikers Limited, but the committee for the toy run with a lot of our guys. So we were running it then and bringing all other groups in with us.
You copped a bit of resistance at first, didn't you?
Yeah, we did, because people thought we were bikies, we were bad boys.
Yeah.
You know, but as I reckon the third or fourth toy run, they started to go, wow, they're not that bad at all, because they could see us running around with these stuffed toys on the front of our bikes. So these big bad fellas got stuffed toys on front of their bikes. They can't be that bad.
So who was it that finally, said, yeah, we'll have yous?
What was that?
I mean, what was the charity? I mean, how did it go when you finally got accepted?
Well, we were doing Woodlands Boys Home, and then turned around after Woodlands closed down. They went to Sydney. We were looking for someone else. The committee was looking for someone else to donate the toys to. And we were phoning around saying, we want to do something for the kids. And the mob saying, like Vincent de Paul and that, yeah, oh, great idea. We're motorcyclists. Oh, sorry, we're full. We don't need anything, And this went on for a fair while, and it finished up, we were turning around saying, we're bikers first.
Yeah.
And Major Merv Hopper of the Salvation Army, we actually phoned him up, and the conversation went, we're bikers. And Major Merv Hopper, lovely guy, turned around and said, so? And that was it. And we said, we want to do something for the children. He said, mate, you want to do something for the kids, we'll welcome you with open arms.
Yeah.
And we'd done it from then for the Salvation Army, and we're still doing it for the Salvation Army.
I mean, why has it been so successful?
Because we put out that you ride a motorbike, it doesn't matter how big, how small, you're part of a family. I had people turn around and go, I want to come along with a toy run, but I only ride a 250. And I used to always say to them, if you fall off a 250 and hit the ground, does it hurt? Of course it hurts. I said, you ride a big $1 million motorbike and fall off, hit the ground, is going to hurt the same. You're part of the group, no matter what.
Acts of kindness goes a long way. Your motto is every child deserves to smile, and a child's smile will light the world. Beautiful, beautiful lines.
Have you ever seen and study a child that opens presents at Christmas time?
Oh, yes.
That smile just radiates. It radiates, it fills the whole room. And you get enough children smiling like that in the radiation, the smile. Come on, it's got to make the world a better place.
It gets you pretty emotional too, doesn't it?
Absolutely. We turn around and donate the toys to the Salvation Army. The money goes to the Salvation Army to buy toys, because normally the children about 8 up to 14 don't have much toys donated. So the Salvation Army, with that money that we donate, buys the toys for that age group.
Yeah.
But it's just a case of that they buy the toys, the parents come in and pick the toys for the children. They go home, wrap it, put it under the tree. The kids open the thing that is from Santa. The parents get the buzz thinking it's from, that they're seeing their children open these presents they probably couldn't afford. And it's just a win-win. And we get the win knowing that we helped do that.
When was the last time you cried?
Last time I cried? Probably this morning. I was watching YouTube of something else, a family that was in dire need that pulled through and come good.
Yeah.
So a little bit of leakage there. I don't like admitting too much, but there was a little bit of leakage.
A lot of people wouldn't think you'd cry that much, to be honest.
I don't think I cry that much, but it's, really things close to the heart get me, yeah.
I think, I mean, I suppose it's a man thing as well. It is important to open up at times, isn't it? Let it out.
Oh, absolutely. My dad was one of the old school. Mate, you didn't cry.
Yeah.
3 kids belted you up. You still went in there and got into them. So, yeah, got to be a man. Got to be a
It
man.
was different times back then, though, wasn't it?
Absolutely. But Dad never showed affection to me. My young brother was different. That's where that come in, that I was a rebel.
Yeah.
My young brother was the white sheep of the family, and I was a black sheep, always running around doing things I shouldn't be doing and stuff like that. And Mum, my younger brother's 3 years younger, turned around and said to Mum, how come you get all the affection to John and not me? And she said, you get it all the time because you're always here. I've got to catch him when I can because he's not here much.
You said you got into trouble, big trouble. What's the worst you've ever got into? What's the worst bit of trouble you got into?
Probably riding unregistered motorbikes when I was 15. The sergeant playing from Newcastle really kicked me ass, and then Dad kicked it.
Which one hurt more, Dad?
No, Sergeant Plain. He was a big boy.
Now, you've raised money for Salvation Army, John Hunter Children's Hospital, Camp Quality, Ronald McDonald House, the Westpac helicopter, telethons. Remember the telethons? How good were they?
Unreal.
I wish they still existed. That really brought out... People would be donating all over the weekend, and right at the very end, just before it finished, someone would donate $1 million.
Yeah. We'd all be on the phones in the background taking donations
Yeah.
and putting it through,
Yeah, it's... I mean, we could probably still use those these days because, just with this toy run, it's helped around, obviously 4,000 families. Life is getting bloody hard these days, and it's not getting any easier. Cost of living, petrol, housing crisis, it really cuts to the bone. The sad thing about this is that, especially with the Bikers for Kids, there's always going to be a need for that, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. I ran it with the committee up until the 41st toy run, and then I was part of helping out until the 43rd. But my son, Darren, took over. He was running there for 5 years before he took over. And I remember saying something to him on the 41st toy run. And I said something to him. He said, Dad, I got it. I've gone, okay, you'll take over. And I put my resignation into the committee on the 41st run. So I finished the 41st run.
Yeah.
And then done 2 years just helping out. So he's doing a great job.
Yeah.
And the committee is not only him, he's chairman of the committee, but him and the committee are doing an absolute great job.
Because again, people see, I suppose, the end result, don't they? But they don't realise that as soon as that day finishes, practically on the Monday, it's time to start all over again.
But when you see 14,000 or 13,000 motorcycles coming from Stockton,
Yeah.
and the route is lined all the way with mothers and kids and cars, and they're all standing there waving at you and all the rest of the gear and everything else, and they all know it's the first Sunday of December, that is really amazing.
Life, I suppose was a lot easier back in the day when you were growing up, without the mod cons and mobile phones and stuff like that. Do you always wish that you could go back in time?
Never.
Really?
Never. I had my fun then. Boats in the quarries in the water, riding motorbikes, being a rissole, waiting to come home, street lights come on, come home, all the rest of it. That's part of growing up.
Yeah. I just think these days, I don't, if kids these days got a taste of what it was like back then, and you mentioned to me the other day that you'd come home when the street lights turned on.
Yeah, you played out
these days, a lot of parents wouldn't even let the kids go out purely, because they're worried about them getting pinched or something like that. But most of the time, they're already in their rooms playing games, aren't they?
Yeah, but them days, all the neighbours knew everyone. Every dog in the street knew every kid in the street. So everyone around Lambton knew, that's Big John, that's the arsehole. So
do they still say that?
they knew who every kid was.
Yeah.
So if there's a stranger there, it was like a telegraph thing that, there's a stranger in the street, and all the parents would come out and make sure he went away.
Did you ever come home late?
Yeah, got my ass kicked.
It's
But that was part of it. You've got to test him. You've got to test him.
It's a wonder you can walk with all these ass kickings.
Deserved it. I deserved every one of them.
I bet you did. Well, we'll go back to when life again. When life was good. You're born in Werris Creek, 1940. Was it 1945?
1945. Yeah.
Yeah.
The end of the war. I was the end of a war baby. The Japanese surrendered. The Japanese. That was the Germans surrendered.
Yep.
And the Japanese went for a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
But the Germans surrendered, so I was a baby in arms when the Germans surrendered.
The family moved to Lambton when you were 3.
No.
Was it?
It was a family home in Lambton,
Okay.
but it was built by my great-great-grandfather.
Right.
So when we come back to Lambton from Werris Creek.
And you're still living in that house today?
I'm still living in the original house today, yes.
Wow. They've got some memories in it.
Oh, yeah. I've rebuilt it a fair bit, but it's still got memories.
I mean, just the move from Werris Creek to Lambton, was that for work for your dad or?
No, Dad was a shunner in the railways. And he got the opportunity to go to Werris Creek to work on, because the wide gauge, which in New South Wales, went to a narrow gauge at Werris Creek. And all the goods had to be offloaded into the narrow gauge rail carriages to go to Queensland.
Yep.
So basically that's what he was doing. He was a shunner up there. And I believe they lived on rabbits. There was rabbit plague, and he used to have ferrets and go hunting ferrets, and that was too for night time because there was heaps of rabbits up there.
Do you ever think if they didn't move from Werris Creek, if they stayed up and said, no, we like Werris Creek, we're going to stay here, we're not going to go back, do you think you'd still make your way to Newcastle somehow?
They always come back. The family, my dad's great parents were Lambtonites. Dad's father was a Lambtonite. Dad was a Lambtonite.
Yep.
Mum's parents were Lambtonites. All her brothers and sisters were Lambtonites. So there was never a chance that they'd stay up there because they had to come back to the families.
How many people were living in that house at its peak?
In Lambton?
In your house, yeah.
Only 4.
Yeah.
Only 4. There was Mum, me, Dad, and young brother David.
What was probably the best memory you can think of in that house?
Coming home from primary school, cold days, sitting down with a cup of Milo and a biscuit, listening to the radio with Pico O'Malley on it. You know, that's going back a time. Pico O'Malley, mate. But we'd sit there and Mum would have us a cup of Milo or something like that. It's Milo, I think so. And a biscuit, and we sit down and listen to Pico O'Malley. As soon as we had that, she was out time. Away we went until the lights come on.
What if your home could sell for more without a full renovation? From simple refreshers to complete pre-sale transformations, we help unlock your home's true value. At Mitchell & Beasley, we specialise in property styling and cosmetic upgrades to make your home stand out. Mitchell & Beasley, where presentation meets results.
At Elk Architecture, we don't just design buildings, we shape the spaces where life happens. From concept to construction, our award-winning architects bring our vision to life with precision, passion and purpose. Whether it's your dream home or your next big commercial project, trust Elk Architecture to build what matters most. Elk Architecture, designed for life, built for the future.
Don't live near the beach and wondering what the waves are like? Then wonder no more. And check out Tez's Newcastle Surf Report on Facebook and Instagram. Up around 7:15 every morning, giving you a comprehensive view of the waves and a full explanation of what's happening with the wind and the weather and the tides and everything you need to know about going surfing and finding the best conditions. So check it out online on Instagram and Facebook. It's Tez's Newcastle Surf Report.
But what's the price to pay? Lost generation.
Just that Lambton area, so much history, isn't it? Pit shafts, quarries filled with water. What possibly could go wrong?
We used to have heavy rain and we used to have fall-ins over the pit paddock all the time.
Yeah.
So the kids used to go over there with candles and climb in where the fallings were, and with the lit candles. Now, the black gas could come up there and explode, and we went into the mine shafts and all the rest. Yeah, mate, you didn't think about it.
Yeah. I mean, even that little area near the Lambton Park Hotel, that where the rotunda is, there's that soccer ground. That ground there's a plaque on the rotunda. Someone told me about that. It's one of the earliest games of soccer that's ever been played in northern New South Wales. Was at that ground. You know,
by the Lamp Pit miners.
yeah,
But that part was named the Dog and Rat
right.
because the miners used to take foxes into the mine shafts to look after their lunch boxes so that the rats wouldn't get to them. And they used to do a coursing, what they call, they'd have the foxes lined up and they let a rat go. And they let the foxes go and they bet on which foxy got the rat. So that was called Dog and Rat after what the miners were doing there.
You learn everything. You learn something each day. Catching crawchies.
Unreal. The drains.
Whereabouts were they?
Newcastle Road. The drains were all just mud. And you get out there and you put the meat down with a bit of string and you catch crawchies. Never had them. I used to catch them. I never had them.
Cubby holes in Fallon's pit paddock.
The what?
Cubby holes.
Yeah, they were in the fallings.
Yeah.
After the rain, the fallings would go, and that's where we made the cubby holes.
Wow.
So you didn't even think about that. You've got these great slabs of rock over your body, and then you're down inside here where it fell in.
Yep.
The mine was sinking down, but the rock stayed there. And you never thought of how unstable that rock was.
Wow. Fearless at that age, weren't you?
You were, absolutely.
Well, that's the thing, is that I don't know whether you'd have second thoughts now, wouldn't you? You'd be going, hang on, what are you doing?
Nah. I'm a risk taker. I was scared of heights, so I become a rigger.
I was about to get to that. Before we get to that, you're 13 years old and you're riding your Triumph Tiger 150cc
Yep.
at the old pit paddock. That's an old British motorcycle, isn't it?
That's all we could get then.
Yeah.
Because war bonds, Australia owed England war bonds.
Yep.
And all they had was because we had to buy British motorbikes and cars back. So that was why the old A40s, Morris Miners and all the rest, and all the motorbikes were British. If you wanted an American car or a Yankee motorbike, there was this big excise on it that made it totally out of reach for the normal person. So yeah, we could get Trumpies, we could get BSAs, Nortons, we could get them all.
Was that Triumph Tiger your first love?
Loved it. And I got caught on and Dad put an axe through it.
Tell you what, your dad sounded like a character as well, didn't he?
Oh, no mucking around. No mucking around.
I mean, motorbikes has obviously been a massive part of your life. Your uncle was it a BSA 150cc Bantam?
Yeah.
They used to call it Bantam Major?
No, the Major was a bit bigger.
A different one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a Bantam.
So was that, the next step up in bikes for you?
No, that was the first one. He pulled up on the Bantam. He used to use it for work, and I went there and never rode a bike until then. And he turned around and he was showing me, and he turned around and taught me how to ride it. First time I crashed into the fence, but after that I got it right.
You evil Knievel. Then you got I'm going to go through them all. You got a Trump 150cc, then a Trump 110 650cc,
yeah.
a Trump Bonnie, a
Yep.
Yamaha 250cc, Yamaha Midnight Special, and a 79 Yamaha Cafe Racer.
Yeah, XS11, tyre shredder. Still got it. It's in the garage.
And 1981 Harley Davidson.
Yeah, I got the Harley Davidson because there was something missing with the Yamaha. There was a big miss between the right wrist and the brain. So something just didn't collate. I used to just wrap the right wrist on and the brain didn't say, no, don't do that, don't do that, you're going to get booked, you're going to get booked.
Apart from the toy runs, but what's been your favourite ride where you've just got out in the open road and went somewhere?
By myself, just by myself. Or we used to go to Dubbo. We used to do the long flat at Dubbo. That was a buzz.
Yeah.
It was on the water up there with a lot of like-minded motorcycle guys.
Yeah.
We had to get up there, get drunk. But I learnt you always put your 10 up before you get drunk. It just don't work if you're drunk.
You tried to do it when you were drunk?
You sleep out in the open.
You sleep on the rocks.
Yeah, you sleep out in the open.
Look, I've got to say, I was never into bikes. You know what? I had a teacher. You know, sometimes teachers can get in your brain when you're a kid, and he was a history teacher. Went to Vietnam, come back, and but he always used to say, and whenever we mentioned motorbikes, he'd go, "Coffins on wheels." And it always stuck with me. He goes, "Mate, at least if you're in a car, you have an accident, you've got a bonnet to protect you. In a bloody bike, you're flying." How many accidents have you had on a bike?
Probably about 5, and they were all good ones. Not bad ones. They were all good ones. There were ones where I was extremely lucky that I learnt how to ride, probably on dirt.
Yeah.
Because of the early Trumpies where there was no tarred roads.
Yeah.
It was all dirt, and you learnt kind of to be able to put them sideways and all the rest of it.
Right.
So in the couple of bad accidents I had, I actually laid the bike down and let the bike go into the vehicle, and the bike protectors, it was just skin off. So no broken bones, just skin. Oh, a couple of broken ribs, but that's neither here nor there.
But do you think, even these days, someone that wanted to ride a bike, learn to ride a bike, to go on the dirt would be the best thing to.
There's a lot of, you've got to learn to ride properly. You've got to actually go to a learn to ride school now. They teach you how to hold the bike up, how to brake, and all the rest of the gear, which is fantastic. I find that the dirt bike riders actually know how to control a bike better than guys that have just gone onto the road, like new riders on the road. I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The old riders like me and all the rest of the gear that have been riding for years, it just comes natural. I don't know why. It's just a thing. You've been riding that long, and it. You mightn't ride for a year, but you jump on the bike and go for another ride. Within about 5 minutes, you settle back into the groove.
Yeah. You mentioned a job you had before. You're scared of heights, but you became a rigger scaffolder. How does that work?
Unreal.
You're scared of heights. What happened? How was the first day?
You've got to confront your demons. You really got to confront your demons. If you're going to let your demons win, then you're lost. Like if you confront them and get on top of them. Now, I was always scared. Every time I was up there, I was always scared. But I done my job and I got home successfully. Maybe because I was scared, it made me safer up there. But we used to ride the hook, which was not allowed now. But I know I was doing a high rise in Sydney over the big street there. There was a lot of RSJs, and basically what you done, you stood on the road and hung onto the rope, which was your lifeline, and you had a bell rope, and you used to pull it to single the crane. And as it went up, a big gust of wind hit the load and started to helicopter it. Now, with a load helicopter coming up like that, all I had to do was touch the side, and it would have been bye-bye, John.
Wow.
And that was a change of pants time after I got to the top.
You probably would have seen a lot of accidents up there.
Riggers, no. I was working with a lot of good guys. The only ones that got to me, a crew I was working with, Copper Star and Coal, went to the silos, the wheat silos, and that crew was the one that was crushed when that floor come down and killed them. So that was one that got to me, because I went across to Eastern Nitrogen doing the high-rise stuff on there.
Yep.
And that crew went across to the silos. And if I hadn't gone to Eastern Nitrogen,
You could have been.
I'm saying I
Could have been
might
one
have
of
been
them.
there.
Yeah. I mean, you went on to use earth-moving equipment pretty damn well, which you had a business for, 15 years, front-end loaders, backhoes. You loved using those machines, didn't you?
Unreal, I can make them talk. You just ask anyone that knows about it, and they'll tell you the stories about Big John standing up on two wheels and charging at people and...
No OH&S then.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But what got you into that?
I went from rigging to crane driving.
Right.
So I was driving cranes, and then I turned around, and a part of the crane driving, we had earth moving equipment with the company I was working with. And they had a big loader that was standing idle.
Yep.
There was a 120 Huff, and there was a guy that used to drive a 90 Huff. But he was the ace, mate. He was supposed to be the best in Newcastle.
Yeah.
And I turned around and asked, what's the chance of me having a go at that? And he said, you think you can handle it? Mate, hold me beer. Within about a month, I killed him. I was doing that much, twice as much as what he could. And that was got to prove a point. I'm going to do something, prove a point.
Yeah.
Be good at it.
A terrible day that happened in Newcastle, the earthquake. You were at home at the time, but you went into Beaumont Street, and you end up more or less the police saw you and lifted the tape and get in here, John.
Yeah, I was at home and I heard it on the radio, so I jumped on my backhoe and charged into Beaumont Street, and the police rescue squad knew me and probably knew me bad reputation. I don't know, but they knew me. As soon as I got in there, they said, "Great, John, we want you. You're coming with us." And they had me lifting all the awnings. So they'd hook up and I lift it up and they'd look underneath it and go, no one there. And I'm going, if I drop this and someone's underneath it, I'm going to kill them. But every time they lifted the awning and said, no one's underneath it, you're going, let's go to the next one. And we just kept going until we lifted all the awnings that were down. Yeah. And we didn't find anyone, thank God.
Did that affect you for a while after that?
Nope. It was just part of the job. Mm. You know, at the time, if we would have found someone, possibly. Yeah. But we didn't find anyone. Yeah. It was a case of, you know, like we're doing a job, and while you're doing it, all you're thinking of, please God, don't let anyone be under there.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose, you know, you end up going into security. Well, you started working at the Newcastle Workers Club, the world's biggest disco. But I suppose, you know, it's lucky that earthquake didn't happen that night, wasn't it? That Workers Club before
yes, possibly.
You know.
Yeah, but you know, like I'm a great one believe in fate. You know, if you're meant to be there, you're meant to be there. Mm. I've dodged death a few times, and you know, I still believe it's fate.
Give us one example when you dodged death.
Motorbike riding, you turn around, and I was at the gully line, and I always used to take off flat out on the big yammy. It was go like hell, and it used to pull about 180 before you dropped the back. And I was a gully line at a red light, and I turned around and went green, and every time I used to pride myself, as soon as that light went green, I was gone. And for some reason or other, this time, I looked to my right. There was a car coming through the red light, and he was screaming. And if I would have moved, I would have been absolutely totaled. Mm. And that was one that I dodged. And I gone, why did I look to my right? I never used to. I used to trust the green light. The green light's right, they're not going to come through there. So now I always look both ways.
Do you believe in God?
I believe in a supreme being. Whether you call him God or you call him Buddha or by whatever name, I believe in a supreme being. Yeah. So I'm not that religious. I don't think I'm that religious. Mum used to make us go to Sunday school like all kids used to have to. Mm-hmm. But I'm not that religious, but yeah, I honest to God believe in someone's there. You know, whatever you want to call him. If you want to call him God, yes. If you don't, if you want to call him a supreme being or Buddha or whatever, yeah, there's got to be someone.
Yeah. Well, we all find out one day, don't we?
No, I'm going to hell. The devil probably kicked me out because he don't want me to take over.
After everything you've done, Big John, you're not going to hell, I can tell you. The security stuff, you know, you really got wrapped up in that, didn't you? You know, you've got this license where it's like 1A, B, C, D, E, F, 2A, B, D. That's one of the highest licenses ever held.
Yeah, in security, in New South Wales security, yeah.
And it means that you don't do anything in half measures, do you?
I challenged myself.
Yeah.
I went through...
Just like with the cranes.
While I was doing that, I went through for... I've got about 30 diplomas that I went through with security. So...
I mean, just with those, I mean, the days where you were in pubs and stuff like that. I mean, were you a bit of a target in the pubs because you're so big? A few blokes get a few belt and drinks under their belt and go, you know what? Let's see if we can take the big bloke on.
Yeah, but you talk your way out of it. You know, it's a case of you go, hey mate, come on, you really don't want to start this. You know, like let's just talk about this. Let's just back off.
Yeah.
If the SHIT went down, mate, well, you had to stand your ground and do it. But basically, most of those drunken guys that wanted to have a go were waiting for you to arc up. Mm. And if you arced up, then, all right, let's dance. But if you didn't have to, why get belted if you don't need to be? If you can tell someone and calm them down and then go, mate, she's right, we'll just walk out the door. You know, rather than fight them out the door, because you're gonna, no matter what, you're gonna get hurt.
Have you ever had an experience where you have had to use your fists to get someone out, and they've come back and the next week and maybe apologised, or they?
I've had a lot of drunks that I put out that have come back and said they're sorry for misbehaving, only because they want to get back in the Workers' Club. They didn't want us to ban them.
I mean, you also trained with the Dutch police. What was that about?
Cainey.
Right.
The Dutch police was Melanos, and at the time, we all had German Shepherds.
Yep.
And the Dutch police had Melanos, which is a smaller, light German Shepherd.
Yep.
But the German Shepherds at the time have got really weak front legs, and they jump from a high spot, and they normally used to break their legs or hurt their legs, so you could never allow them to jump high. Where the Melanos used to be able to jump from 13 feet, hit the ground running. And I trained with them because that was the way to go. And I wanted to be a canine handler and trainer.
And you were. You ended up being accredited for that as well.
I trained with them. I trained with a couple of other ones and got me certificates and all the rest of it, and then bought my own dog. Yeah. So I became a canine trainer handler and also a canine security guy. The dogs are beautiful. Yeah. Before the Melanos, I had a Rottweiler. He was absolutely beautiful. He was a big bear, huge dog and a big bear, but he was so nice. And I used to be on security and someone would get into the property and I'd go, get him. I used the German to get him, but the control. Yeah. And he used to bloody look at me and go, do I have to? And you have to tell him a second time and then he'd do it. But he was a beautiful dog.
You also were a bodyguard. Can you tell us who you were a bodyguard for?
No, we're not
Come
supposed
on.
to.
No one will hear this.
No, not supposed to. I'd done a few. High five? Right, I can tell you
high
about
five.
that. High five, yeah.
Wow.
We went all over Australia, bodyguard and high five. So...
Yeah, well, high five are no good. I always wanted to... Oh, well, lucky they had you.
But
that's another interesting, another interesting job, isn't it? Because again, it's like you've got to be on full alert all the time, even though it could be a dull day.
Yeah, when we done the armed bodyguard work, that was different because you only carried arms when you had to. You never done bodyguard work with arms unless it was a threat. So that was different. But I still get in trouble. I go out everywhere now and I've got what they call head swivel. And all security guards got head swivel. You see a guy head swiveling in a pub or in a club or something like that, you go, that's an ex-security guard. Because what you do, you look at the room. You look and go, that guy's might be a threat. No, but that guy over there might be. Why is he getting up? Why is he staggering towards me? And it's just, the head moves all the time. Yeah. I'd be out having at a restaurant or something like that, and I get a slap on the back of the head. You're not working security now.
Well, did you feel that, like going from pubs, clubs, malls, learning your skills, you get to that point where you are a bodyguard? Is it, no one can just turn into a bodyguard overnight, can they? Or do you have to have that experience, from way back?
Anyone can get a bodyguard. Anyone can get a bodyguard licence. You don't have to, I don't know about now, but then the training for a bodyguard was training. But the thing was, you wouldn't work a bodyguard unless they knew you. You couldn't just turn around and say, I'm a bodyguard, and the guy doesn't know you. And you go, well, how am I going to trust this guy? The first thing you might run.
Yeah.
So they knew who you were, sort of thing, before they'd done it. Or your boss recommended you for that job.
Yeah.
In the world of construction, precision isn't optional, it's essential. For over 35 years, Newcastle Sheet Metal has delivered high-quality ductwork, fabrication and installation on time, every time. From large-scale commercial projects to precision custom work, we don't just meet deadlines, we set the standard. Newcastle Sheet Metal, built on experience, driven by quality.
Everyone deserves the chance to live life their way. At Connectability, they support people with disabilities to build confidence, independence, and real connections in their community. With allied health services and capacity building supports for children and adults, they help people develop the skills they need to grow, learn, and thrive. From daily living and community participation to NDIS support coordination and supported independent living. Connectability is there to help you achieve your goals, dreams, and aspirations. Connectability, supporting people, strengthening communities.
You went to Canberra and trained in anti-terrorism. Went to San Diego, trained with American Homeland Security at the San Diego Naval Base and at the Las Vegas Casino. Geez, that would have been an experience.
It was a buzz. I was sitting there with all these guys the first time when I started the training over there, and they've all got Navy rings on and Army rings and Air Force rings and all the rest of it, which they wear, which they get from wherever they were. So they're all servicemen, and they looked at me and said, and what state of the Army were you from? And I go, no, I was Sea Method back in Australia. I wasn't anything else. And they go, you weren't high up in there. Yeah, I go, no, mate. So yeah.
Was it hard to get respect from them?
There was an eye opening. Oh yeah, no trouble at all. They were all great guys.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, I was 6'7", I towered over most of them, and I was a big boy, so I didn't have trouble.
I mean, just with that, I mean, that's the next level, do anti-terrorism. Did you ever, I suppose, what happened at Bondi? You look at that and you go, geez, what could have been done better, or even in the aftermath of that? Do you look at things like that after the experience that you've had, that at situations where if I was there, I would do this or that?
They're ones. Come on, you've got one event in the whole of Australia. How can you be that? The events that happen, you've got to be on the ground at the time, or you've got to have information to get there. I don't know. I was never involved. I've never had anything to do with. I trained, and I trained for everything that security was responsible for, teaching canines and doing all the rest of it. But I never ever got to experience something like that. I even trained with the policeman Nadnock, which was unarmed combat, using weapons and all the rest of gear, and I became a trainer for the Monadnock stuff. Yeah. But I never ever used it, so I was kind of lucky that I. Yeah. The old voice is the best thing you got of the lot. Yeah. To get it there, but You've got to be armed, you've got to be there at the spot and all the rest of gear. And a security guard, anti-terrorist security guard, is not allowed to be armed unless it's totally a special occasion.
Yeah, yeah. Just regarding police, so you ever thought about joining the police force?
Yeah. When I was 18, I went to join and had a crooked nose. Because I couldn't breathe, because at the time they were taking all guys over 6 foot and I was 6'7".
Well, I was about to say you had to be at least 6 foot, didn't you, back then?
And they turned around and said, you can't breathe, so we won't do it. So again, I think it was ordained, it was done that way so that I didn't join the police force.
But did you look at your life, you know, and just with that, you know, how there's that fork in the road. If you'd have got in that police force, a totally different life to what
I would have been a bigger arsehole than what I am.
Would have been the perfect job for you. You highway patrol on a bike?
Yeah, loved it. The mates of mine were highway patrol on the bike, and Johnny Cook was a police sergeant, and he was a highway patrol all the time, and he used to change the cars and that, and he used to embarrass me all the time. He used to turn around and see me in my car or my bike, and he used to put the lights and siren on and pull me over.
Defect it?
And he used to stand there with the lights going and everything. I was standing there in uniform alongside of me, and people going past, he's getting booked, he's getting booked. And we were just talking. I said, John, turn the bloody lights on. No, they think I'm booking you.
Just staying on police, another good friend of yours, Senior Constable Tony Tamplin. He was He was a good mate, and you'd still miss him.
Yeah, salt of the earth. The things that he'd done for us, like the tug of wars and the blood runs and everything else, and just being there, he was just so much of a nice guy. And every time he used to go in we'd done a blood challenge with the police force, and we used to go in there to the blood bank, and the boys used to get there, the police used to go there, and we'd line up and take their blood. And it was just a thing to gain more publicity for the blood bank, and we didn't care who won.
Yeah.
We just cared that we were putting it out there that we're donating blood. And Tony always used to get in there, and I used to always get in there. We have our photos together, grinching as they put the needle in.
He was a character.
Unreal.
I mean, can you believe it's? I think next week it's 13 years ago that he passed away.
No.
You know, and I remember when it happened. You know, when the funeral, it was live streamed. Now I know most funerals these days live stream, nearly all funerals. You know, they've got the facilities, but back then, you know, if you're getting your funeral's getting live streamed, it meant something in the community, and that's what he was.
Yeah. Your mate here was asking me about respect, change of life. He's one guy that changed that many people's lives that it wasn't funny. And he had that respect from the whole community and everyone. So he was a person that, yes, I respected, totally respected that guy, that he was unreal.
And you sort of feel like, I mean, his job was, I mean, police media do a great job these days.
You couldn't do it today.
You could not, and they've never replaced anyone, and they wouldn't let someone probably do what he used to do. It was like, back then it was like, just let him just run his own race. And now it's you know, you wouldn't be able to do what he did. But that's what made it, I suppose, and that was important for the police to show that side, isn't it?
That they were real, that they were general guys, and they were mixing with us. Basically, everyone thought, police and bikers, you know, they're bad. They're going to get into each other's. And we were doing tug of wars with the police team and the bike team, and then we were donating blood together, all rolling up at the blood bank on bikes and police cars. And, you know, it was a case of, it kind of showed that we were human. We weren't some, you know, underdogs or anything, and the police weren't bad people. It was just a case of we were all people, got together.
Only 53 years old when he had that heart attack. You feel cheated a bit, you know, because it's almost like you've lost a friend. You could have had another 30 years at least, you know.
I don't know. I just think he was too big of a candle, and he burned himself out. Yeah. You know, he went everywhere. He was that bright. You know, it's awful to say, but bright people sometimes burn themselves out.
Another person that you respected, Father Bob.
Ha.
Tell us about the time you met Father Bob.
We went down to Melbourne for a toy run, which was MRA Toy Run was running right from the same we were from 1978. So at the time, we were neck and neck, and we went to Melbourne for it, but MRA had problems, so they didn't complete the runs, so we'd become the Australia's oldest toy run. But we went down there to support them at the time. We were down there, and I was talking to Father Bob. Unreal person, absolutely gentleman. And he was so, I don't know, just a short bloke and a little bit tubby, but he talked softly, talked gently, and, you know, what you thought a priest would be. But he put in a few explanations now and again. But this, and I'm in full bike gear, basically, because I just got off the bike on that toy run. Yeah. And this guy come up in full bike gear, dressed really, you know, and he was puffed up, full of it, you know, the would-be that could-be sort of guy. Yeah, baby, just look at me, I'm a biker. And he walked up, and me and Father Bob's talking, and he walked up to Father Bob and he interrupted. And Father Bob just turned around and said, fuck off. Sorry, that's what he said. And this guy, like someone poked a needle in his chest, he got that deflated and slunk away, and Father Bob, yeah, let's carry on. That was it. Yeah. You know, it just deflated this guy to the end. And it was unreal.
It's amazing. He sort of took on the clergy, didn't he? The church wanted him out because of the way he did his business. I suppose the same way as Tony Templin did in his business, just did it his own way.
Exactly. They were two like people. You know, they turned around and, I'm doing this because I want to do this, not because I'm told to do it.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to rattle off some hobbies that a lot of people would blow their mind here. Calligraphy.
Loved it. The art of beautiful writing.
That would be the last thing I would think that you would be into.
Why?
You can't judge a book by its cover. That's a perfect analogy.
I probably have $500 worth of calligraphy gear at home. That pens and writing, and it's all different. Even to as far as the Japanese brush strokes that the Japanese do. It's all part of calligraphy. Unreal.
When was the last time you wrote a letter?
About 6 months ago.
Oh, you still write them?
Yeah.
Isn't it good to get a letter that's been handwritten?
Unreal. I don't get them, but I send them out. Or birthday cards. I write specially on birthday cards and stuff like that. The trouble is I rush myself now, and I don't do what I should do. Calligraphy is the art of beautiful writing slowly. So when I write and I'm jotting things down, it's jotted down and like scribbled. But when you do something like that, or write a letter or on a card, slow down and you write it nice and easy and keep it where it's supposed to be, in line, straight up and down, not mucking around. It's really, you get into a zone and you don't think of anything else except what you're doing.
Another zone you like getting into, psychic healing.
Loved it. I can see auras, but I can't see auras, sorry. Auras are this outline, physical outline around a body that a lot of people can see. I can see auras, but I can't see them. I understand that there's an aura there, and I understand what that aura is, but I can't see it. So basically, if I'm looking at a person, I can see the aura, but not in my mind. Yeah. The aura is somewhere else, and I can look straight away and go, yeah, that person's a nice person. I don't want anything to do with that person. And people say it's a gut feeling, but that gut feeling comes from you being able to see that aura of that person.
Yeah.
And the brighter the aura, the better that person is.
How's my aura going?
I wouldn't have a clue. I haven't put you out yet. You're not blonded.
So auras and crystals?
Crystals are beautiful. You turn around and you have your crystals, a reflection of a crystal. You put it in the sunlight, and the reflection of the crystal, it brings angels. It brings angels.
Stained glass making.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
love
niche
that.
market.
Yeah, lead lighting.
Yep.
Lead light stained glass. Yeah, unreal.
I could just see a stained glass picture of Big John, sort of like a church.
That'd fall down.
I actually asked another good friend of yours, Kev Kellaway. He's the 2NURFM's
Yep.
Drive presenter, master voiceover. He loved that.
Lovely bloke.
And I asked him, I said, I want a good story that just to jog his memory to ask. And he said, tell him about the time you did the toy run on a postie bike.
I always tried to get a different bike. I never wanted people to go, we won't come on that toy run because Big John rides this big bike. So I used to always try and get different bikes. And this time someone suggested the postie bike. And I thought, why not? Why not? And I had a ball. On the toy run, we went from Gateshead. And I was up and down the medium strip and on the footpath and everywhere where I shouldn't have been.
I tell you what, that postie bike would have been under some duress with you on it, let me tell you.
But, talking about that Windale, we used to come from Windale, and on the run we used to turn around and have traffic problems. And we'd come to Glebe Road, and we used to go straight across Glebe Road.
Yep.
And we'd come there, and I used to turn around and jump off at the time, and I had a big chain, and I used to wave the chain around and stop all the traffic so the bikes could go through. And we finished up turning around, and I got a call from the police that I had to attend to Mal Reid in town. And I knew, most of the coppers knew me because I was this infamous guy sort of thing. Used to go around with a knife in my boot and all the rest of the stuff. But they all knew of me, and they were friends. Most of them were friends. Yeah. And as I walked into the police uptown, the guys behind the counter are going, you're going to get it, mate. You're going to get a new one ripped. And I got, yeah, okay. And I went upstairs, and I'm sitting up there, and Mel's reading the riot act to me about standing in the middle of the traffic and stopping the cars and all the rest of the gear. And we got Lenny Reese, which was a highway patrol commander there with him. And he said, you're not allowed to do that. That is not on. You've got to stop right away. I've gone, how's the guys going to get through there? Because there's no traffic lights and we've got to hold them up so I can get the guys through there. And he said, no, not going to work. And Lenny Reese turned around and said, what happens if we give you a police escort? And that started, and we had a police escort from then. And I come down with this great big smile, and all the guys downstairs, what happened? How come you didn't get one ripped?
Well, I tell you what, I'd love you to reenact that at one of the kids' bikers charity swinging it to stop the traffic. That'd be a sight to behold.
Oh yeah.
Of all the things you've done in your life, you just mentioned a stack of them. What's the best one? I mean, if you could go back in time, I know you like living in the present, but what was the best time? Because there's so many different facets to your life, layers. What was the one?
One of the things that I really remember was that we were at a toy run. I was one of the early toy runs. Mm-hmm. And I'm there, and this little child walked up to me, three, maybe four, with this teddy bear. And it was a love teddy bear. And this little kid turned around and gave it to me and said, this is for the kids. I said, but it's your teddy bear. He said, no, I want to give it to other kids that are going to love it as much as I do. Now, big moment.
Nearly made you cry then too.
Yeah, almost. It was beautiful.
Big John, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on Incredible Lives with Cainey, and look, I reckon you've still got a lot more things to do in life before
Absolutely, mate.
before you go to hell.
81, I'm still gonna give him heck.
Thanks, John.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.